Hello and namaskar to all my students, my viewers. I'm back after Dasera. It had been nearly a month. I was not able to make any educational videos due to some social issues. I was mostly engaged in social issues, but I thought you're sent up and your HS examination is drawing nearer. So I again come back with Diwali Dhamaka. नमस्कार सबै मेरा नानीहरू स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू लगभग 20-25 दिन बादको अन्तरालमा फेरि तपाईँहरू समक्ष एजुकेसनल भिडियोज लिएर आएको छु पर्टिकुलरली कमर्स स्टुडेन्ट्सको लागि हजुरहरूको इक्जाम सेन्ट अप त यही नोभेम्बर महिनामै हुन्छ त्यसको बादमा मार्च महिनामा एचएस एक्जामिनेसन छ अनि यो ओल्ड सिलेबसमा दिस इज द लास्ट इयर नेक्स्ट इयरदेखि त हाम्रो कमिङ 2026 देखि त अर्कै खाले एक्जाम प्याटर्न हुन्छ 12 सेमिस्टरको सो as far as language is concerned, I will be using both languages, English as well as Nepali, so that it may be useful to all the people. If I use only Nepali, then it might not be understandable to students from other languages, other community. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Our first question is, what is calls in area? This question was asked in 2022 and this is important for 2025. See, when shareholder purchases or subscribe the shares of the company, they need not pay the full amount in one installment. The total amount of the shares they purchase need to be paid in several installments. Like first installment is called application, second is called allotment, third is first call, then final call. So calls in area means when the company made declaration for the payment of allotment or any call, but some of the shareholders might not pay the amount on the due date, and that is what is called calls in area. Calls in area means the amount which is due for payment but has not been paid by the shareholders or has not been received by the बोर्ड अफ डाइरेक्टर्स मतलब जब कम्पनीले शेयर अलटमेन्ट अथवा शेयर कलको पैसा माग्छ शेयर होल्डर्सकोबाट कतिपय शेयर होल्डर्सले पैसा समयमा दिन सक्दैन भने त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामी कल्स इन एरियर भन्छ सो when one or more shareholders fail to pay his dues at the time of allotment or call, it is technically called calls in area. अनि calls in area certain interest is charged. So if you follow the Companies Act 1956 or as per Table A of the Companies Act 1956, interest on calls in area is payable at the rate of 5% per annum. But if you follow the latest Companies Act 2030 or as per Table F, interest on calls in areas has to be paid at the rate of 10% per annum. भन्नुको मतलब जसले पेमेन्ट टाइममा दिँदैन एज अ पेनाल्टी कम्पनीले चाहिँ के गर्छ जति अमाउन्ट ड्यू छ जुन डेटदेखि ड्यू भयो अनि जुन डेटमा उसले पछाडि गएर पेमेन्ट गर्छ त्यति समयसम्मको लागि इन्ट्रेस्ट पे गर्नुपर्छ यदि हामीले 1956 को कम्पनी एक्ट फलो गर्यो भने टेबल ए फलो गर्यो भने चाहिँ इन्ट्रेस्ट अन कल्स इन एरिया चाहिँ 5% पर एनम हो तर हामीले 2013 को कम्पनीज एक्ट अथवा टेबल एफ ला फलो गर्यो भने चाहिँ कल्स इन एरियरको इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ 10% पर एनम आई डु होप यु हेभ अन्डरस्टुड द मिनिङ अफ कल्स इन एरियर and other is what is forfeiture of shares. See, this is very important because there are some shareholders who fail to pay the installment or the call money may not be able to pay in futures. कतिले अलटमेन्ट दिएन र अलिक ढिलो अलटमेन्ट दिन्छ अथवा कलसँग अलटमेन्ट दिन्छ त कतिजना सेयर होल्डर्सले कल अलटमेन्ट पनि दिँदैन कल पनि दिँदैन इट मिन्स their financial positions are not good so they are unable to pay the amount due on allotment or call or both दिनु सक्दैन भनेदेखि the company will not wait for a longer period त्यति बेला चाहिँ के गर्छ भन्दा whatever amount the company has already received they will forfeit the amount and will cancel the share capital they will retake the shares from the original shareholders forfeit the amount received so far and again it will resell the amount resell the share to another shareholders कोही बेला के हुन्छ भन्दा कतिजना शेयर होल्डर्सले अलटमेन्ट दिएन पर्ख्यो कल पनि दिएन भने कम्पनी पर्खी बस्दैन कम्पनीले त्यो शेयरलाई क्यान्सल गरिदिन्छ माना एउटा शेयरको दाम 10 रुपैयाँ हो उसले 7 रुपैयाँ दिइसकेको छ 3 रुपैयाँ दिएन भने कम्पनीले उसको शेयरलाई क्यान्सल गरिदिन्छ र उसकोबाट पाएको 7 रुपैयाँ पनि कम्पनीले फर्काउँदैन बचाउँछ त्यसलाई चाहिँ भन्छ forfeiture of shares so forfeiture of shares simply means cancellations of share capital against the non payment of allotment and call money अनि forfeiture गर्नु certain rules छ there are certain conditions that has to be fulfilled before forfeiting the shares number one condition sir it should be permitted by the articles of association articles of association is a very vital document of the company अनि यो डकुमेन्ट चाहिँ कम्पनी फर्म हुनुभन्दा अगाडि बनिसकेको हुनुपर्छ अनि शेयर तब मात्रै फर्फिट गर्न सकिन्छ जब कम्पनीको आर्टिकल्स अफ एसोसिएसनमा फर्फिचरको बारेमा मेन्सन गरिएको हुन्छ इफ इट इज नट मेन्सन इन द आर्टिकल्स अफ एसोसिएसन दैट द कम्पनी क्यानट फर्फिट द शेयर्स अर्को कन्डिसन इट शुड सर्भ 14 डेज क्लियर नोटिस बिफोर फर्फिचर फर्फिट त गरिन्छ नि एउटा मान्छेले अलटमेन्ट दिएन फेल टु पे द अलटमेन्ट अर द कल यु क्यानट फर्फिट इमिडिएटली द शेयरहोल्डर्स शुड गेट at least a time of 14 days to make the payment before forfeiture. So तिमीले पेमेन्ट गरेनौ कम्पनीले भोलि नै फर्फिट गर्छ भन्ने हैन कमसे कम कम्पनीले 14 दिनको तिमीलाई नोटिस दिएर तिमीलाई 14 दिनको समय दिएको हुन्छ त्यो 14 दिन भित्र पनि यदि शेयर होल्डर्सले आफ्नो आउटस्ट्यान्डिङ अमाउन्ट आफ्नो कल्स इन एरियर जुन चाहिँ अमाउन्ट छ त्यसलाई पेमेन्ट गर्नु सकेन भने चाहिँ कम्पनीले त्यो शेयर खोसिदिन्छ र पाएको पैसा सबै जफ्त गरिदिन्छ and that is what is called forfeiture of shares and other important thing is if you see this is minimum subscription okay so this is minimum subscription see जब कम्पनी फर्मड हुन्छ त्यति बेला कम्पनीको मेन सोर्स अफ फाइनेन्स मे बी one of the main source of finance may be the issue of shares तर there is a rule made which is usually under the provisions of the Companies Act कि जब तिमीले शेयर इस्यु गर्छौ that amount of shares has to be subscribed by the public. You may issue 5,000 shares. The company may subscribe 5,000 shares or more than 5,000 or less than 5,000 shares. But there is a rule that the shareholders or the public must subscribe at least 90% of the issued share capital and that is the minimum subscription. Because in order to undertake or in order to meet up the initial expenses of the company must be in a position to raise at least 90% must be able to collect 90% of the issued capital and that is what is called minimum subscription so minimum subscription is that minimum amount which in the opinion of the board of directors must necessarily be raised through the issue of shares so that the company must have necessary funds to carry out its objectives stated in the memorandum of association as per SEBI guidelines. Minimum subscription must be 90% of the issued amount. Suppose company 10 lakhs को share issue गरे भने the public ले at least 10 lakhs को 90 means 9 lakhs को shares they purchased गरेको हुनुपर्छ. यदि कम्पनीले 8 lakhs को shares मात्रै purchase गर्यो भने company त्यति नै बेला will come to an end. सो एटलिस्ट जति कम्पनीले सेयर इस्यु गर्छ त्यो सेयर्सको 90% चाहिँ पब्लिकले सब्सक्राइब गरेको हुनुपर्छ सो द्याट द्याट अमाउन्ट रेज फ्रम 90% may be used for those purposes which has been mentioned in the memorandum of association. अर्को कुरा आउँछ कि what is reserve capital? What is reserve capital is very important. So we'll do up to this. So what is reserve capital? So after minimum subscription, we'll go for what is reserve capital. See, suppose company issues a share of rupees 10 each, 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each, and that 10,000 has to be collected in several installments like share allotment, share application, share allotment, share first call, share final call. Suppose company called for rupees 8 but rupees 2 is due, and that will not be called upon by the company until the company is liquidated or only until the company wind up. सपोज 10 रुपियाँमा कम्पनीले 8 रुपियाँ चाहिँ माग्यो 10,000 सेयरमा 8 रुपियाँले 80,000 रेज गर्यो 10,000 सेयरमा 2 रुपियाँले द्याट इज 20,000 कम्पनीले सेयर होल्डर्सलाई मागेको छैन अनि त्यो माग्दैन पनि जबसम्म कम्पनी लाइभ छ कम्पनी इज गोइङ अन द्याट विल नट बी कल्ड अपन तर कोही कारणले गर्दा कम्पनी वाइन्ड अप भयो लिक्विडेट भयो डिजल्भ भयो भनेदेखि चाहिँ द्याट रुपिस 2 will be called upon for paying the liability of the company. And that is what we call reserve capital. See, it was asked in 2016, 17, 19, and 24. So it is a part of uncalled share capital, which shall not be capable of being called up except in the event of winding up the. This is a part of uncalled capital. This is definitely uncalled capital, but uncalled capital को त्यो part हो जो चाहिँ company को lifetime भित्र call गरिँदैन. It will be called upon, shareholders will be called upon for payment only when the company dissolved, only when the company wind up, only when the company liquidate. So that is called reserve capital. So today we learned very important thing, calls an arrear, forfeiture of share, minimum subscriptions and reserve capital. Please go through these notes. This is very important from your center as well as your HS point of view. As well as 18 and you. Please subscribe my channel, share my videos so that all of you may be benefited. यो खाली videos जुन चाहिँ देखाउँदैछु यो खाली वेस्ट बेंगल एचएस बोर्ड को लागि मात्र हैन आईसीएससी सीबीएससी इवन यो जुन चाहिँ नोट्सहरु छ इट इज इक्वली इम्पोर्टेन्ट फर अदर exams like BCom होस् चाहे BB होस् जसले पनि कमर्स अकाउन्टेन्सी एज अ सब्जेक्ट लिएको छ इट इज इक्वली एप्लिकेबल सो तिमीहरुको दिवालीको छुट्टी हो आई नो आई एम अल्सो अ टिचर मलाई पनि थाहा छ तर याद गर्नुहोस् तिमीहरुको दिवालीको लगत्तै पछि तिमीहरुको सेन्ट अप हुनेछ सो प्लिज इन्जोय दिवाली एट द सेम टाइम प्लिज keep your pace with your studies. So tomorrow is a Diwali, but if I get time again, I will be uploading a video on some important questions from company account. Till then, goodbye. Subharatri.